I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And this is my reaction to episode 11 of season 11 of Mystery Science Theater 3000. And before we really discuss the episode, let's see what my reactions were during the movie. Did they only know those words?
Max, do you mind? Moon 14 is calling.
Oh, something spilled because they need to cut the scene. I don't understand, they're like, oh, we spilled some of the movie. I guess if the movie was super duper long, but I mean, I think timing-wise, they could have kept those scenes in, you know? And I mean, in the original, at least, you didn't know, they didn't tell you if something was missing.
We three kingdoms of Orient aren't. What I'm saying is everything accomplished in the first Wizards movie was meaningless.
And all the characters, even that white Chewbacca knockoff thing, are dead.
And this is definitely a sequel, not a completely unrelated movie that we slapped the beloved Wizards brand on.
Oh, man.
I spend hours of sweat and pain gathering that.
I miss countless haircuts.
So far, I like this riff better, though, than the other one.
And the fiddler's doing all that without even touching the strings.
Yeah!
Time to go, Tyre.
But Master!
Time to go, Tyre!
But Master!
Time to go, Tyre!
Shut up and just act interested in things.
Is he talking directly to us?
Can you leave some grass to find my mother or cousins?
Oh my gosh. This one has been, like, fantastic so far, guys. If the host segments are on point and the riffing stays this strong, we could have a new best episode, in my opinion, here.
Nobody ever complained about a free side of sarcasm. Nice to meet you. Have a nice day.
That's a pun, not sarcasm. That was good. As someone, I used to work in a movie theater, and as someone that had to sit through a video like that, oh man, spot on.
You know, I question the practicality of her battleware.
Yeah. Still better than the girl in StarCraft, though.
South Carolina.
Well, wizards advise queens.
What queens?
Wizards.
Don't eat it.
I'll put it in my daiquiri later.
Throw it away.
America's food waste crisis.
That's phrasing. Hello? McFly?
Yeah!
Overhand! Overhand!
You defeated my overhand, Sir Knight, but can you handle psych overhand?
Guys,
It's really, really good. A lot of Quest of the Delta Knights vibe, which I actually really love that one. I think it's underrated, personally.
I find that so incredibly hard to believe.
I'm just shocked to learn things happened before I was born.
This is a classic pop.
Damon, wake up.
I'm a figure.
Oh.
Do with me what you want.
Ah!
A restraining order?
What year is it?
Oh my gosh!
Where's base gotten to?
Ah! What is wrong with this movie? What is with these movies and having, like, full-grown adults after children? Full-grown adults, like, sexually assaulting kids, like, what a magic adventure.
Tyre passing that test is the least believable thing in the movie so far.
SARS. The warning goes like this. Hey now, you're an all-czar. Game on, get paid. Too bad he hasn't learned the spell for mad ups.
I'll pretend I didn't see you.
I'm gonna help him. Here we go. Wait, did she change clothes again, or is that a different blonde person?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't
No,
know.
hang on.
This one definitely has more action than the first one.
Okay, now you...
I'll skewer him.
Skewer?
Skewered, Frazier.
It's like a werewolf. Scoot?
Every great hit.
You know, this is similar to a plot point in Mad Max Fury Road, so in a way, this movie was nominated for Best Picture.
You guys are going as Bane for Halloween too?
Villagers, thank you, Dark One. You're very welcome, Rick Moranis.
Quick, before you get out of the water.
Great, nobody's following proper water sanitation procedure.
Your grandma Pearl.
They did come back. Does Brink actually have a brain this time? No, okay.
You'll have to groom me in person someday, Professor Bobo. As long as you don't bite off
I'll
my
call them
face.
Professor, that doesn't usually happen.
I've learned not to...
I just want to have it all. A death grip on the television industry and a family.
I tried that when I went into business with your father. But he turned into a star baby and it fell apart.
Yes.
You can't have it all.
I'll start my own family, and I'll make it the biggest rating stunt of all time.
Ah.
King of Forrester is getting married.
Oh boy.
I don't know. The robots? One of them?
Oh gosh!
Still not legal.
And the subject of your experiment?
Jonah. Will you do me the honor of giving me away at my cynical rating stunt wedding?
No way. I appreciate the depravity of your motives. Our scouts.
Okay, I gotta pause this real fast. What the heck? Okay. Totally different than the first time we saw them as a cameo. First off, already start off hilarious with them actually mentioning the short segments. Not only because, yeah, the Mads have cut them off a few times, but the actual segments, even with just Jonah and the bots, some of them are pretty dang short. That is easily one of the best Kinga scenes yet. She was actually, like, you know, into it and had funny lines and it actually worked. The cameo, 1,000 times better because it wasn't like, it didn't feel drawn out and kind of forced. But as soon as they said marriage, like, first of all, that's hilarious because that is what gets the most views for whatever reason. So that's pretty funny, like, just the fact that they mentioned that. But as soon as she was like, I'm gonna get married to someone, I'm like, I don't think they would do her henchman. They didn't, so I was like, oh, thank God. But I was like, if they do the robots, they've done the robots marrying each other before, or almost. And then as soon as they're like, yeah, they confirmed, no, it's not, I was like, holy cow, it's gonna be Jonah. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that. I don't know if they're continuing that in this episode or not. So I guess we'll see in like 20 minutes. Overall, much better, and we'll see how this goes. Oh, poor unsuspecting Jonah.
Would you wear pants if you didn't have to, Jonah? Which, you do have to.
Dear God, yes, keep your pants on, Jonah. What is with you?
Yeah, does that turn you on, weirdo?
What?
All right, come on. You will become evil and join him and not kill him. Get it?
Yeah, I get it. It's like Star Wars, right? All you had to tell me was it was like Star Wars.
You Jackman from Pan. Now I've gotta kill you.
No.
He is the weirdest Key and Peele character by far.
I should think you're too good to be evil.
Or too hip to be square.
Why is Donar dressed like a Skeksis?
He's bringing Skeksis back. Yeah.
But it's Skeksis, but...
You can't kill my father.
What? Father? We gotta unpack this.
Just throwing in moments from Star Wars and hoping it all works out.
Is
Yeah.
this what the kids...
Let my wizards go.
The only thing this has in common with the first movie is dumb hats.
Bon appetit.
He was Mario Batali the whole time. Jonah, my tummy doesn't feel so good.
Dizzy and exhausted, and my eyes hate me. I think
I
I've
don't have
exceeded my
eyes.
maximum.
This was fantastic. This was just, it was the best episode so far. So good. It was so funny. An episode I love of the original series that I think is kind of underrated, people don't talk about it that much, is Quest of the Delta Knights. It's episode 913, I believe. And I love that one. A lot of people, that it just doesn't get mentioned very much, but I really like it. It was just, that's exactly what this one felt like. Just like a really terrible medieval movie. I liked this one, like, way more than the first one even. It's like, the first one almost pales in comparison to how good this one was. And it's like, I feel, in the last video, when I mentioned liking the sequel better was Fugitive Alien. It's the same thing here, where it's like the sequel, like, I liked the first one a lot, but holy cow, the sequel is so good. Host segments, let's see. The opening with it raining, bizarre and pointless, not really funny, whatever. Okay, moving on. The first one with them dressed up, the training video for the tavern franchises was really funny. The second one with the book, it was fine, you know, another one that's like, you know, had one or two good lines, and then move on. The third one, so many things to talk about with the third one. So, first off, much better cameo from Pearl, Brain Guy, and Bobo than the first one in Cry Wilderness. That one felt much more lame and forced and just kind of like, well, we had to show him somewhere, and so you just kind of like slammed him in there. It just wasn't. It didn't work. It didn't click. They didn't click. It didn't work for me. That first one, but this one worked better. First off, like I said, I like a little bit of sap, so I liked when Pearl mentioned that they'd actually had some good years together. I was like, well, that's nice, you know, that's a nice little character building thing for characters we haven't seen in so long and that aren't major players in this. That was nice. Then let's get to Kinga's side of things. First of all, this was one of the best Kinga scenes I think we've had. She's been really hard for me to connect to, you guys know this. Now, when it comes to the actual idea that she had of weddings bring in the ratings, which is true. I mean, if you look at, it's weddings and I think babies, right? I think when the characters have babies and it's like across America, it's like, tune in, this is important, you know? But it's weird. As soon as she was like, I should get married, and I was like, it's not gonna be her henchman, because that's what he would want, but she's like, that's not gonna happen. And then when she said no, I was like, well, it's gotta be Jonah. It has to be. There's no other. She's not gonna do one of the robots and everything. Like, it's interesting enough and it's funny enough, and like, that's, yeah, but if you're gonna set up this story, there's like no way you're gonna finish it in just one ending segment, right? Well, they didn't even try. So this is the second episode in a row where there was something set up and it didn't get paid off yet. So, which is interesting, because normally when the show would do that, it would carry through the rest of the episode, and in season 8 a lot of it went into the next episodes, but that's a whole nother. Season 8 was its own special little can of worms when it came to host segments. But in the last one, it was TV's son of TV's Frank found that key, and there was some metal worm thing that came out of the ceiling, and it was like, okay, is that coming back? And it didn't. Even though he had the key around his neck the whole episode, so it was like, okay, what was that about? What was the point of that then? So obviously that has to come back in some way. And then in this one it was like, oh, Kinga wants to marry Jonah, which is just weird, which is already odd. But it didn't get brought up again at all, not even implied, nothing. Also, they mentioned Dr. Forster. They mentioned the Star Baby thing from season 7, which I thought was great, because I don't think it had been mentioned at all yet. Because I know in the first one, she's always like, I'm continuing my family's experiments, but he's never specifically mentioned. I mean, I've got to give this one an A. Easily the best. Easily the best that we've seen so far. Even better than Beast of Hollow Mountain, which I still love. It's just the best. It's just the best one we've seen. It had the most crack up, it had me cracking up the most. I could just tell from the first 20 minutes. I was like, if we stay on this path, man, it is like golden. It's overall, the segments were good. That last one was at least interesting. We'll see how that pans out. So good, guys. It was the perfect movie, the perfect riffing. It was much better than the first one. The movie itself even had more action. It was like a little more interesting than the first one. I mean, seriously. I am so happy. We have it's like one that is the makings of a classic episode that could fit with any of the good ones out there, As always, I know I didn't have much to say with this one other than that it was great. So, as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.